Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dr. Fantastic Interviews. I've got Peter McCormack today, and he is a professional journalist and fellow podcaster. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thank you. I wouldn't say I'm a professional journalist, but...
attempting to be a...
attempting to be one, but definitely a podcaster.
Well, if they gave you $1, then you're a professional.
Well, that's true. Okay, I'm a professional then.
I worked in 81 different professions, and I only count the ones that someone gave me payment for that service.
What was your favorite one?
Favorite was producing.
Okay.
I produced Ray Charles on his 50th birthday.
Nice.
At the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, and that was a great production. That was my first production in music, but around the world, snow machine operator in Switzerland for the winter of 72. Again, I'm a published author. I've done lots and lots of different things. But I'm having the time of my life in retirement as a motivational speaker, a small-time podcaster, YouTuber, Instagrammer. Every day I put out a positive, motivational slogan for the world to start the day off. And how better for you in Malibu with a view like that to be living out here?
Oh, I don't live out here.
Oh, you don't live out here?
No. I live in England.
Oh, you're across the pond.
Yeah. I'm only over here for work, for my interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you must probably do a little research on your interviews.
Yeah, lots of research, man.
Lots of research. Well, I love, because I'm so curious about life and everyone. My interviews just seem to be off the cuff because I find you to look interesting. I like people with tattoos. Always, some of my favorite or some of the more popular YouTubes have been on tattoos and piercings. Okay. People love that, and people love CBD. And I noticed you talked earlier about Bitcoin, which I think is the future of currency.
Future of money, not currency.
Exchange. They started out with a barter system, right?
Yeah.
We bartered for the chicken. I gave you some milk for your chicken or whatever. Yeah. And now we pay with currency, or now digitally. But I think a Bitcoin, and I'm going to come up with one for the Be Fantastic movement. If it's stable at $1, let's say, and it's always worth $1, it doesn't go to $1.10 or 98 cents like Bitcoin fluctuates thousands of dollars. I think it'll be adopted.
But the dollar isn't stable.
Yeah, but it's still $1 though.
Yeah, but that's
you get $1 worth of goods.
You're thinking of it as a unit of account. The problem is the dollar is losing value every single year. Over time, Bitcoin is gaining value. So what you want to do is you want people to hold Bitcoin so it increases in value, and eventually it becomes a unit of account and people use it instead of $1. That's the goal. But the problem is that the dollar's always losing value against Bitcoin.
Okay.
Like over a long enough time frame, like it's a 2-year cycle. It's volatile, but over a 2-year cycle, it will always gain value. And the reason being is there's a limited amount. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. There's never going to be any more. But the problem with the dollar is whenever the government's struggling, whenever they've got financial problems, they just print more dollars. They use tools such as quantitative easing and print more dollars, which devalues, that causes inflation, which devalues the dollar, which means your savings are being debased.
Well, the Bitcoin, though, is one of thousands of Bitcoins, though, correct?
No, there's only one Bitcoin. There's lots of other cryptocurrencies, but they're all nonsense. They're all absolute nonsense. Everyone should, only ever focus on Bitcoin.
But they don't.
No, they don't. They get distracted, and then they lose money, and then they can realize, they look into the tech and the economics, and they realize it's only Bitcoin that matters. And
did you get in Bitcoin at the beginning?
No, God, no. I wish. If I did, I'd be in a helicopter right now. No. Sadly, I've never really made much money off Bitcoin. I've just made a career out of it.
On reporting about it?
Yeah.
How much can you report on Bitcoin, though?
Loads. I do 2 shows a week. I could do 3 if I wanted to. There's so many interesting people to talk about, so many things happening with the technology. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Oh. And what's the price today?
You know what? I don't check it daily anymore. I would say, last time I looked, it was around $8,000. I think it may have just dipped below. But, I ignore the price because I care about the technology.
Right.
The price doesn't matter for me for another 10 years.
Okay, and there's 21 billion, you said?
Million. Yeah.
Okay.
Not only ever will be.
Only ever will be.
Yeah.
And then they just get, because you can buy a portion of one, because nobody can afford one Bitcoin. Well, not everyone can, anyway.
Yeah, it goes up to 8 decimal places, I think.
So you can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin.
You can buy $10 of Bitcoin. Yeah. And you should. People should.
Do you keep buying it and storing it?
Yeah. Keep accumulating a little bit here, but a little bit more there. Yeah, keep growing.
Where do
It's called stacking sats.
Okay, and where do you buy Bitcoin?
Well, so I would never share where I buy or sell or store it because one of the most important things with Bitcoin is you manage your security.
Okay.
You don't want to ever have your Bitcoin stolen from you or get hacked.
But I heard they can't, though.
Well, no, they can't hack the protocol itself. They can steal it from you, like if somebody knows where you're storing it. So the way it works, you have something called a public and private key, okay?
Okay.
So if you want to send some Bitcoin to me, I give you my public key, which everyone can see, and you can send it to that.
Okay.
But to send it to me, you have to use your private key, okay? That's the thing that validates the transaction, right?
Okay.
If somebody finds your private key, they can steal your Bitcoin. So that's the bit you have to keep secure.
So you would never send it over an email or something like that?
You would never send someone your private key. You would use a tool to send Bitcoin.
A tool?
Yeah. There's different tools you can use to send Bitcoin with.
Now, because I was thinking, I have a friend who's into Bitcoin. Do you know Mikhail Ravencroft?
No.
You might want to interview him one day. He's heavy into it. He creates Bitcoin for people.
Okay.
But I guess you wouldn't say Bitcoin, you'd say cryptocurrency.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because there's only one Bitcoin, right?
There's one Bitcoin. There's other things that have got Bitcoin in their name. There's like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin Gold, but they're all just nonsense. They're just copies.
Now, has anyone made it big besides Bitcoin?
Lots of
In
people
that
made lots
arena?
of money, like Ethereum. People made money with Ethereum. They've made money with something called Ripple. But the problem with those is that, like, whilst people have made money, it's like they've made money without it being a success. You know, they've made money off of other people losing money.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
It's kinda, I'm reluctant to say that. I'm just, but kinda.
Okay. Well, that's a nice little lesson on Bitcoin. Let's talk about humanity and saving the planet, which is what my goal is.
All right.
Because in every big city around the world, and I've been around it a couple of times, they call it a rat race, they call it a jungle, and they call it a dog-eat-dog world, right?
Yeah.
Well, because it's too crowded. And the overcrowdedness, I believe, is causing people to be greedy, selfish, and litigious. Speaking of greed, have you seen the movie The Laundromat? It just came out, and it's fantastic. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got, oh, thank you. It's got Meryl Streep. It's got, the microphone fell down there. Antonio Banderas, John Lithgow.
Oh, watch it. I like Meryl Streep.
Oh, she's fantastic in it. And it's about the greed that occurred and is still occurring in shell companies.
Uh-huh.
And in 2016, the big leak came out, and it turns out that $97 billion in American companies aren't paying taxes because of these shells.
Okay.
And that's the backdrop of the movie.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
It's a fantastic movie, The Laundromat on Netflix. At any rate, so my movement, called the Be Fantastic Movement, is because I'm a simple man with a simple plan. I've seen enough of life in working in all my careers and being a grandfather and traveling around to see what's happening. And it's not brain science. Basically, people are living in their little bubbles, and no one right now around us cares about us.
Uh-huh.
Because, it's a big city and no one knows anybody, so they're not accountable for their actions. Mm-hmm. I think you should be accountable for your actions. I think you should be kind and considerate and friendly and polite and civil. And I created a way to do that because we all have two things in common. We're going to be asked how we are today, and we know that being positive is better than being negative.
Why should you?
Why should you be positive?
So I understand that there are benefits to it.
Yes.
But you said people should be these ways. Why should they?
Well, because...
what if you don't want to be?
If you don't want to be, that's what's the problem is. If you've done any driving in a big city, most people won't let you in traffic.
Uh-huh.
And I feel that if everyone becomes fantastic, that's one of the traits of a fantastic person. They let you in traffic. Okay. And I think if you drive around a city, any city in the world, and people start letting you in, it's going to create a different dynamic, a different energy. You'll feel differently just driving down the road because you're with a complete stranger who just let you in. Okay. And if you've ever let anyone in traffic, it makes you feel great and it makes them feel great. 1. 2 is when you say you're fantastic, it releases endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin in your brain because it forces you to smile, even when you don't want to smile. And that makes you feel good, Smile makes you look great, and it makes you live longer. Because every time you smile, and this is science, not me talking, science says when you smile or laugh, it releases stress. A little less stress, you're going to be a little healthier. A little healthier, you're going to live longer. So by simply replacing the word good in your life, not telling people to have a good day or you look good or that was good, say fantastic, you'll look better, feel better, and live longer. It's a simple little thing. I've got a couple thousand people adhering to that on my YouTube. Of course, I'm telling people about it on my radio show, these podcasts, as I meet people that are spreading the word in journalism, as you are doing in your podcasts. Watch what happens on this trip when you replace the word good with the word fantastic. It's amazing. Most people don't know what the word fantastic means. In the dictionary, the definition is unimaginably good and beautiful. So I tell people, do you want to hire a good journalist or a fantastic one? And I would ask you, do you want to live a good life or a fantastic life? Do you want to marry a good person or a fantastic person? Do you want to have a fantastic trip right now or a good trip? And pretty much fantastic wins out most of the time.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. And it's a simple plan because all of us have one thing in common. We're going to be as we are today. And if you can make one person smile today, you've made the world a better place, in my opinion. These are all just my opinions.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Now, again, it gets back to you said, why should we do it? Because most people do good things, and you're talking about humanity and all the things that I want to hear more about that, what you're doing and reporting on, but most people do something good, like donate or whatever, for a reward. You say, can you donate $100 for my charity? They're going to say, what do I get out of it? They're not going to say, what does it do for your charity? Most people say, what do I get? Well, you're going to get invited to this dinner. You're going to get a fabulous dinner, and this person's going to speak, or this person's going to entertain you, and it's going to be a fabulous night. So, there's a reward. I'll do it. Very few billionaires, and I work for billionaires, will donate anonymously.
Yeah.
There are a few out there that do that. That, to me, is unbelievable. It's fantastic. Most don't, and most, I know a lot of billionaires again, and most donate for the dollar-to-dollar tax credit they get.
Right.
It's to a public foundation, what have you. So it's a greedy world. And when you watch the laundromat, you're going to totally agree. And you already know it's a greedy world. You're out, poverty will never go away because it's profitable. You probably know that there's 13 families in the world that control all the wealth in the world, and they wanted to keep it that way. And so they control the governments, they control the banks, they control the money, and they control the media. And they're not going to tell us certain things that you and I both know, but it's only for the people that really want to dig deep and find out about Fukushima, about your telomeres. They don't want everyone to know about your telomeres. Everyone will be living 200 years. They don't want that because you're not going to be useful at probably 150. They need you to be useful. They need you to go 8 to 5, go home, watch TV, ignore the bad shit in the world, and repeat the next day. That's how they make their money. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, you're verging into conspiracy, so I can't agree with a conspiracy that I don't know the truth about. Like, I don't know if there's 13 families who control the money in the world. I don't know if... I don't always buy into this huge, big conspiracy. I think sometimes maybe, rather than there's a big conspiracy of people trying to control us, like, there is just... This is just... Like, you get evolution of, like, species, and maybe you get evolution of societies, and we've evolved to this point whereby we go to work, and then we come home and we watch TV and we go to bed, and a lot of us are oblivious to what's going on. But there is a lot of bad shit. There are bad people. There are bad actors in government. There are bad actors in companies. There are bad actors day to day. There are people who just do want to control us. There's awful regimes around the world, authoritarian regimes, like people living without democracy, living in poverty, living in fucking communism these days. What I'm saying is, I don't know if there's like a group of 13 families who sit around the table and agree how they're going to.
You heard about the Bilderbergs?
The Bilderbergs.
Bilderbergs?
Maybe. It sounds familiar.
It's a Bilderberg meeting. I mean, it's where the rich people get together in secret, and it's not so secret anymore because you can't hardly hide anybody who's high level in government, what have you.
Bilderberg.
What about the Federal Reserve Bank? Do you know how that works? That it's not that it's a private bank?
The Federal Reserve. I thought the Federal Reserve was run by the U.S. government.
That's what everyone thinks. It's a private bank. check that out. There's a book. You want to watch another movie after you want to watch the Laundromat? It's called Thrive, and a billionaire that was an heir to the Johnson & Johnson family, I think it was. He spent millions of dollars on this movie. It's a documentary on how, it's called Thrive, and how a whole system works. Mm-hmm. And if you do any research on the Federal Reserve, you'll know it's a private bank, and they not accounting to the government whatsoever. And if you just do a history of how it all came about, from the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and the really rich families, how they just evolved into this monetary system, then you'll understand a lot of what I just said, because I do a lot of research. And again, you might always want to say it's a conspiracy, because what do we know that's true? They have you look at a dinosaur on television, it looks so real. What is it called? CGI, right? Yeah. And they can create all sorts of different things. Oops, microphone went down again. There we go. There it is. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm having a fascinating conversation with Peter. I love speaking to with people that have more intelligence than I do. Because I went to the school Hard Knocks, Peter. I didn't go to school. And sometimes you learn different things in that school. Yeah. Everyone I've ever met in my life, and I've met tens and tens of thousands of them, from the billionaires to the plumbers, have something to offer in the world through their experiences. And I like to try to get a little bit from each one of them. Don't always remember it, but I try to remember a little bit from each one of them. Did you just Google the Bilderbergs or Federal Reserve?
Say it again?
Did you just Google the Bilderbergs?
Yeah, I just Googled it, see what they're saying.
Yeah, that's amazing. And they have video of these extremely wealthy people getting together in secret, because, like I say, very few billionaires or politicians can go anywhere in the world without being followed, because it's all news, right? Mm-hmm. And they have videos of them arriving at these secret locations to conduct these secret meetings. Because you got to admit, it's all about money. You can't argue with me there.
No, it's all about money.
All about money.
Yeah.
And all the motivational speakers that I haven't read any motivational books or done any kind of studies. I just have my thoughts and my feelings from my experience, right? Well, most of them are saying, think and grow rich. Get motivated to become successful monetarily. I'm not for that, because my parents were beatniks, one, and I was raised as poor as anyone you've ever met. But I'm thinking that if you're happy, that's going to be better than being very, very rich. And to be happy, Peter, is what you're doing. Yeah. Is because you couldn't wait to wake up this morning to jump on a plane to go do this interview that you're looking forward to. That is called passion. You found your passion. You can't wait to jump out of bed in the morning, and you're going to have a fun day doing it. And when you have fun, you do it well, and when you do it well, you make money from it. But most people are crawling out of bed because they have to make money. Mm-hmm. And that's not a passion. So that's the secret to happiness. And I feel that if you become fantastic, Peter, I would love you to join the movement. It's on YouTube. And of course, we have the Instagram. We got the Be Fantastic app for Android this Friday on iPhone. And it's in 41 countries, meaning I've met at least 41 people from different countries that love what I'm doing and brought it to their country. Mm-hmm. Over almost around 2,000, I think 1,920 people now are agreeing that we need to make the world a more civil place. And to create this civility has to come from within each one of us individually. It can't come from... Is it still recording? It can't come from the government. I mean, it's not going to come from the government, right? And it's not going to come from companies. It has to come from individuals. And we are still recording at 19 minutes and 33 seconds. Peter, tell me about something. One of your favorite podcasts on humanitarianism. I think that you said you...
No. So I'm doing
environmentalism.
Defiance, which is all about...
Oh, Defiance.
Human rights, censorship, freedom. I've just released a show today about independent journalism. I've got an interview coming up with Brittany Kaiser from The Great Hack, all about what happened with Facebook. I'm interested in talking to people in that kind of space.
Oh. And what have you learned?
I've only 5 episodes in so far, so I'm not sure. I mean, what I'm finding, there's definitely a groundswell of people who are pissed off about everything that's happening right now.
All right.
And, just the world's a funny place. There's lots of weird shit going on. So I found, people are definitely interested in maybe a different way, not so much left-right politics and hate and corporate greed, and I don't know, maybe there's just sort of like an alternative. There's definitely an active audience.
Well, I think I'm on the right track, introducing people to being positive. I met a public speaker. He didn't ever tell me his name, but in 18 seconds after meeting me, he let me videotape him in this, and what he said was, he's happy to report meeting me and hearing about the Be Fantastic movement, knowing that it's going to move the needle for a lot of people and move the world as a whole. And he said that in 18 seconds, a little bit more eloquently than I just did. But the point is, I put it on video, I put it on YouTube, and it was beautiful to hear him get what I'm trying to do, right? And I looked at the thumbs up and the thumbs down. And I've never seen a thumbs down in any of my 1,000 YouTubes, but there was a thumbs down on that. And I took it personal, and I said, "What? How could someone piss on that great statement?"
People always find something to be pissed about.
Yeah, I mean, they're called trollers, I guess.
Yeah, trollers, they do all the time.
Anything that's positive, they're just going to shit on. And then I saw months later that it went away. I guess he retracted it, even though I didn't say anything about it. But maybe he couldn't sleep at night, because I think I'm on a right track. And I've got almost 2,000 people agreeing that we need to be more civil. We need to be kind to strangers. And I think when that happens, you're going to find a different environment. You're going to find the small town mentality come to the big city. You've been to a small town, right?
Yeah, I live in a small town.
And they say hello, and they open doors for you, and they let you in traffic, and they're polite and civil, right? Well, that's because they're accountable for their actions, because everyone knows each other. At a dinner party, you're not going to shove someone aside to get to the dinner table, right? Because you're accountable. I think we should be accountable for our actions right now. Unfortunately, every day on the news, you hear people hit and run, people murdering people, and that's not being accountable. And I think if we could just get everyone to be accountable for their actions.
You can't make people accountable.
You can't make them, but you can introduce the benefits to it.
Yeah, that's, I agree with that.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, you can't make them. People don't like to be made to do things.
Unless there's a result for them personally.
Yeah, definitely.
It goes back to, no one's going to do good for good's sake. They don't realize about karma. Do you believe in karma?
No, I don't. I just believe shit happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I don't ever talk politics or religion in my shows. Never. Because there's too opinionated. And even in the same religion, they can't even agree on the same Bible. So for me, it's just, we don't know. We don't have enough information. And I don't talk about it. I feel you can't make enemies if you don't talk about politics or religion, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that you took an interview with me,
no
Peter.
No worries. Sorry, I'm being distracted.
It's okay. You
got to prep for this interview.
You got to prep.
Yeah.
Everybody, be fantastic.
Be fantastic.
And thank you, Peter, and have a fantastic life, my friend.